Things is a film that I believe could have been a lot better for what it turned out to be. It doesn't live up to its promise of the whole premise. But I will say this is still an enjoyable film. I would recommend you check it out. Directed by John Lee Hancock. This film takes place in 1990 Los Angeles. Two police officers are trying to catch a serial killer. But when they come across a strange man, Albert, played by Jared Leto, then he becomes their top suspect. I have to say, while as interesting as that premise is, it just didn't do enough for me. This movie is a mixed bag for me. And don't get me wrong, I enjoyed the performances of Denzel Washington, Rami Malek, and Jared Leto. It's just, it doesn't do nothing with the story. And the screenplay, favors a lot to Seven, which is, in my opinion, a better movie. And not just that though, this film, it tries to make you believe that Albert is the serial killer, but it really doesn't go anywhere. Now, this is a small spoiler, but at a point in the film, the police officers, they get into a little bit of trouble. And then after that, the film just ends, and they go about their lives. And I'm like, what? That's all this film really had to offer. I mean, despite the 127-minute runtime, it doesn't do a whole lot with that. And while this is not a bad film, it just could have been a lot better from what it turned out to be. I wish we could have got a more compelling story, but I guess I really have to think about the implications of what this film tried to be. I mean, Jim Baxton and Joe Deacon, they're interesting characters to a degree, and you find out a little bit about their backstories. But besides all that, this film doesn't do a whole much at the end of the day. If you're really interested, I say check it out, but don't expect a whole lot in terms of story. Honestly, I think that Jared Leto tries to save this film for what it is. It's just he's not in the movie as much as you want him to be. I mean, he plays the part real well, but for after his talents, I wish they could have did more with his character. And for a minute, you might believe he's the killer, but it doesn't really go anywhere with that premise, like I said before. Now, despite that, there is some interesting shots throughout the film, but I can't say this is a high quality movie. It's not bad. It's just it didn't turn out the film I thought it was going to be. When I saw a trailer to this movie, I thought it was going to be one of the most interesting things of early, this year. But it turned into a decent film, and I kind of have to fault it for what it didn't capitalize on. If I would have taught us anything, it's that don't expect every movie to be the same. And this film, though not bad, it's just not as great as it could have been. I'm giving this film a 7 out of 10. Now, I wish they would have done something better with the story. I mean, nothing really interesting happens, but I wasn't bored either. It was enough to keep me interested. It's just that if they would have crammed a little bit more character into Albert, then I think he would have been more of the highlight of this film. But nonetheless, this is not a bad movie. I would recommend, especially if you're a fan of Denzel Washington. To me, I don't think he's ever had a bad film. And he was quite decent in this role that he had in this movie. And that's my review of The Little Things. Okay, leave your comments down below in the section and let me know what you think about this film if you've seen it. Do you agree this movie is good for what it is, or could have been a lot better? Alright, this is Slim Guy 172 saying peace out.